Lily Morgan wiped down the gleaming metal table with quick, practiced movements. The luxury space station Celestial Haven hummed around her, its artificial gravity keeping her firmly on the polished floor despite being thousands of miles above any planet. Through the vast windows of Stellar Plate's restaurant, stars glittered against the blackness of space. "Table 6 needs service," said a gruff voice behind her. Lily turned to see her manager, Zorb, a cephalian with blue-gray skin and 4 tentacle-like arms. 2 of his yellow eyes narrowed at her. "Important guest tonight. Do not mess this up." Lily nodded and straightened her uniform, a sleek silver outfit with blue trim that marked her as serving staff. 5 years ago, she'd been playing concert halls on Earth. Now she carried drinks for beings who thought humans were barely smarter than the pets some of them kept. As she approached Table 6, Lily recognized the aliens sitting there. 3 Arcturians, with their tall, slender bodies and shimmering skin that changed colors with their moods. Their 7-fingered hands held crystal glasses delicately. Beside them sat 2 Zeta Reticulans, gray-skinned beings with large eyes who were known throughout the galaxy for their advanced technology and equally advanced sense of superiority. But what made Lily pause was the human man sitting among them. Maxwell Grant. Everyone knew who he was, the richest human in the Federation, the tech genius who had taken alien technology and made it work better for humans. His company, Grant Innovations, was worth more than some small planets. "Your drink." "Menu?" Lily said, placing the holographic display on the table. "Today's special is the Nebula Twist made with genuine Centaurian berry extract." One of the Arcturians, skin shifting to a patronizing shade of purple, looked up at her. "Tell me, human, can your kind even taste the complex flavors of Centaurian berries? I've heard your taste buds are quite primitive." The others at the table laughed, including Maxwell Grant. His expensive suit and perfectly styled dark hair made him look like he belonged with these aliens, but his laugh seemed forced to Lily's ears. "I find they have a sweet, tangy flavor with hints of what Earth raspberries might taste like if they were 50 times more intense," Lily answered politely. The Arcturian's skin flashed surprise before settling back to smugness. "Well, perhaps your species isn't completely hopeless then." Maxwell Grant studied her for a moment. "Impressive description. Have you traveled to Centauri then?" "No, sir. I've just served a lot of drinks." The Zeta Reticulans exchanged glances. One of them made a sound like rocks in a tumbler. "See, Maxwell? This is why we question your species' readiness for advanced trade partnerships. Your people are meant for service roles, simple tasks." Maxwell nodded along, though something flickered in his eyes. Shame? Anger? It vanished too quickly for Lily to tell. "I'll return for your orders shortly," Lily said with a practiced smile. As she walked away, she heard them continue discussing business deals worth billions of credits. Maxwell Grant had started with nothing. She knew that much from news reports. Born in a small town on Earth, he'd built his fortune by understanding alien tech better than they did sometimes. But now he sat laughing at human jokes with beings who clearly thought little of his species. Across the restaurant, past tables of various alien dignitaries, stood the pride of Stellar Plates, a magnificent instrument called a harmonic resonator. It resembled a piano in some ways, with floating crystal keys arranged in sweeping patterns. But instead of strings inside, it contained complex energy fields that resonated at different frequencies. The Arcturians had invented it 2 centuries ago, and they claimed no other species could truly master it. Occasionally, one would play during special events, creating sounds and accompanying light shows that left diners speechless. Lily found her eyes drawn to it whenever she had a free moment. Her fingers would twitch, remembering the feel of piano, keys beneath them. Before the Federation had accepted Earth as its newest member 20 years ago, Lily had been famous. Not Maxwell Grant famous, but well-known enough to fill concert halls and have her recordings sold globally. She'd performed for presidents and prime ministers. Critics had called her a once-in-a-generation talent. Then the aliens came. Earth's submarine economy had shifted virtually overnight. Old industries collapsed, new ones formed. Art, music, literature. These became less valued as humans scrambled to adapt to galactic standards and technologies. Like many artists, Lily had found herself without a career path in the New World Order. She'd taken this job 3 years ago, after moving to Celestial Haven. The pay was good by Earth standards, and tips from wealthy aliens could be substantial, if you learned to handle their specific cultural quirks. But nights like tonight, serving people who thought her kind were barely more than clever animals, wore on her soul. The restaurant began to fill with more guests. Representatives from 12 different spacefaring species occupied tables, their voices creating a strange symphony of different languages, though most used the standard galactic common when speaking to staff. Lily returned to table 6 to take orders. As she approached, she heard Maxwell Grant speaking. Earth's technology sector is growing rapidly. My company's adaptation of zeta quantum processing has increased efficiency by 30% over your original designs. The Zeta with slightly darker skin leaned forward. Impressive. But ultimately, you're still working with our foundation. Your species hasn't contributed anything truly original to galactic science. Maxwell's smile tightened almost imperceptibly. We're young in the Federation, give us time. What do you think, Waitress? The Arcturian turned suddenly to Lily. Does your species have anything original to offer the galaxy? She wasn't supposed to engage in these conversations. Zorb had strict rules about service staff remaining neutral and unobtrusive. But something in the alien's dismissive tone sparked a flare of pride. I think each species brings unique perspectives, she said carefully. Humans may be new to the stars, but we have our strengths. Like what? Pressed the Zeta. Your wars? Your environmental disasters? Your species barely managed space travel before we found you. Maxwell Grant watched her, looking uncomfortable but saying nothing in defense of his own kind. We have art, Lily said simply. Music, literature, ways of seeing the universe that may be different from yours. The table erupted in laughter. Even Maxwell chuckled, though his eyes didn't match his smile. Art, the Arcturian said, skin flashing amused orange. She thinks primitive human noise-making compares to the mathematical perfection of Arcturian. Harmonics. Lily felt her face grow hot. Will there be anything else, sirs? Yes, said the Zeta. Tell us about your life before serving drinks. What great contribution were you making to the galaxy? Maxwell Grant frowned slightly. Perhaps we should let her get back to her job. But Lily answered, her voice steady. I was a pianist, a musician. This prompted more laughter. The Arcturian's skin almost glowed with mirth. How charmingly primitive, he said. Perhaps you should demonstrate your skills on our harmonic resonator sometime. The results would be most entertaining. I'll return with your orders shortly, Lily said, turning away as professionally as she could while feeling their amusement follow her like a shadow. The next evening brought an even larger crowd to Stellar Plates. Word had spread that a delegation from the Galactic Council would be dining there, and the restaurant buzzed with excitement. Lily moved quickly between tables, her feet aching from hours of standing. At the center of the restaurant, the harmonic resonator sat untouched. Its crystal keys floated in perfect formation, occasionally shifting position as if breathing. Lily glanced at it whenever she passed, a dull ache in her chest for what once was. The delegation has arrived, Zorb announced to the staff, all 4 of his arms gesturing urgently. They will sit at the main table. Morgan, you will serve them. Lily's stomach tightened. The main table was directly in front of the harmonic resonator, reserved for only the most important guests. She nodded and straightened her uniform. The delegation entered with great ceremony. 6 different alien species were represented, each wearing formal attire from their homeworlds. Behind them came Maxwell Grant, looking even more polished than the night before in a midnight blue suit that must have cost more than Lily earned in a year. As they settled at the main table, Lily approached with menus. She recognized the Arcturian, and Zeta Reticulan from the previous night among them. Welcome to Stellar Plates, she said. It is an honor to serve the Galactic Council this evening. A tall, thin alien with pale green skin and 4 eyes blinked at her. This was Ambassador Nex of the Verdant Collective, one of the oldest members of the Federation. You had this one serving last night, did you not? Nex asked, looking at the Arcturian. Yes, the Arcturian replied, his skin rippling with amusement. She claims to be a musician back on Earth. Maxwell Grant shifted in his seat, looking uncomfortable. Ambassador Nex leaned forward. Is this true, human? Lily kept her expression neutral. I was a concert pianist before Earth joined the Federation. Fascinating, said Nex. And now you serve drinks. Economic shifts affected many professions, Lily said carefully. The Zeta. Reticulin made that grinding laugh sound again. Or perhaps your talent was only impressive by human standards. Maxwell cleared his throat. We should order. I recommend the Aldebaran wine. It pairs well with nearly everything on the menu. As the evening progressed, Lily maintained her professional demeanor despite the occasional barbed comment about humans. The delegation ordered lavish meals and exotic drinks, discussing politics and trade deals between bites. The human sector is expanding too quickly, said the Zeta. They lack the cultural maturity to handle advanced technology. We have adapted. Well, Maxwell countered. Grant Innovations has improved upon several Federation technologies. Improved is a strong word, said the Arcturian. Modified, perhaps, for simpler minds. Maxwell's jaw tightened, but he said nothing. Lily noticed how he constantly walked the line between defending his species and pleasing his alien business partners. As Lily delivered a tray of desserts to the table, a drachnid diplomat, a heavy-set reptilian creature, shifted suddenly, extending one of its 4 legs into the aisle. Lily tried to step over it but tripped, sending the tray flying. Glasses shattered and sweet, sticky liquid splashed across the table, primarily onto the Zeta Reticulin's formal robes. The restaurant fell silent. The Zeta rose, gray skin darkening with anger. Clumsy creature. I'm so sorry, Lily said, grabbing napkins. Let me help. Do not touch me, hissed the Zeta. This robe contains ceremonial metals from my homeworld. It is worth more than your entire primitive life. Zor brushed over, all 4 arms working frantically to clean the mess. 1,000 apologies, honored guests. This is inexcusable. She was tripped, Maxwell said quietly, eyes on the drachnid, who looked away with false innocence. The Arcturian's skin flashed with colors that indicated laughter. Perhaps this is all humans are good for. Serving drinks and apparently not even competent at that. The comment drew chuckles from around the table and from nearby diners. Maxwell Grant hesitated, then joined in with a weak laugh, abandoning any defense he might have offered. Lily stood perfectly still, cheeks burning with humiliation. Ambassador Nex raised one long-fingered hand. The human seems distressed. It was clearly an accident. Nevertheless, said Zorb, glaring at Lily with all 4 eyes, she must make proper amends, a public apology at minimum. I sincerely apologize for the accident, Lily said, working to keep her voice steady. I take full responsibility. The Zeta was still trying to clean his robe, muttering about primitive service staff. The Arcturian watched the scene with clear enjoyment, skin now a smug shade of violet. Then the Arcturian's eyes drifted to the harmonic resonator behind them. Perhaps there is a more fitting way for her to make amends. The restaurant grew quieter as diners sensed entertainment developing. What do you propose? Asked Zorb. Last night this human claimed to be a musician, said the Arcturian. I suggest she demonstrate her skills on our harmonic resonator. He gestured to the instrument. It would provide amusement for our distinguished guests. Zorb's tentacles twitched nervously. The harmonic resonator is not for... I think it's an excellent idea, interrupted the Zeta, still dabbing at his robe. Let's see what passes for talent on Earth. Maxwell Grant watched Lily, an unreadable expression on his face. Was it pity? Anticipation of her failure? He said nothing to stop what was happening. Ambassador Nex tilted his head. I have never heard human music. This could be culturally enlightening. Other diners were turning in their seats now. Some activated recording devices on their personal tech. Word spread quickly through the restaurant that the human waitress was going to attempt to play the Arcturian harmonic resonator, an instrument, So complex it required special training from birth to master. Zorb looked torn between protecting the precious instrument and pleasing his important customers. Finally, he turned to Lily. "You will play," he said, not a question but a command. "But if you damage the resonator, your pay will be docked for the next 100 years. Lily looked around the restaurant at the expectant faces. Aliens of a dozen species watched her, most with expressions of amusement or anticipation of her failure. Maxwell Grant sat forward in his chair, a slight smirk playing at the corners of his mouth. She thought about walking out, leaving this job and this station, forever. But where would she go? Earth was still adjusting to galactic economics and jobs were scarce. Besides, a deeper part of her, the part that had once played to standing ovations, stirred to life. "I'll need a moment to familiarize myself with the instrument," she said. The Arcturian's skin flashed with surprise, then settled into confident amusement. "By all means. Though I should warn you, the harmonic resonator responds to both touch and bioelectric signals. Even most Arcturians require decades to master it." Lily walked slowly toward the instrument, feeling every eye in the restaurant on her. The floating crystal keys shimmered in patterns that seemed random at first glance but followed complex mathematical sequences. She took a deep breath and approached the player's seat. It was time to show them what humans could really do. Lily sat down at the harmonic resonator. The seat adjusted to her human form, surprising her with its responsiveness. The crystal keys hung in the air before her, glowing softly with inner light. They were arranged in sweeping curves rather than the straight lines of a piano keyboard. The restaurant had fallen completely silent. Lily could feel the weight of dozens of eyes on her back. She closed her eyes for a moment, remembering concert halls on Earth, the feel of piano keys beneath her fingers, the rush of connecting with an audience through music. She opened her eyes and reached out tentatively to touch the nearest crystal key. It gave slightly under her finger, then emitted a pure bell-like tone that hung in the air. The note was accompanied by a soft blue pulse of light that rippled outward from the key. "How quaint," the Arcturian said, his skin flickering with mocking colors. "She's found one note." Laughter spread through the restaurant. Lily ignored it. She pressed another key, then another, getting a feel for how they responded. The notes weren't arranged like a piano, but she began to detect a pattern. The harmonic resonator seemed to be organized around mathematical relationships between sounds. "Perhaps we should order more drinks while we wait for her to find a second note," the Zeta said, prompting more laughter. Maxwell Grant watched with that same small smirk, saying nothing in her defense. Lily took a deep breath. She wasn't going to play simple notes one by one like a child. If they wanted a show, she would give them one. She placed both hands above the crystal keys and reached into her memory for a piece that might translate well to this alien instrument. She began to play. Her fingers moved across the floating crystals in a fluid motion, pressing and releasing, in patterns that started simple but quickly grew more complex. She chose Rachmaninoff's Piano Concerto No. 2, a piece known for its emotional power and technical demands. The opening chords rang out, deeper and richer than any earth piano could produce. The crystals responded not just to her touch, but to the small electrical impulses from her fingers, creating harmonies that seemed to layer upon themselves. Light pulsed with each note, blue and gold and purple waves spreading through the air. When she hit a particularly complex passage, Lily realized the harmonic resonator could do something no earth instrument could. It could hold notes indefinitely if she maintained a light touch on the keys. She began to build layers of sound, creating a fuller, more orchestral effect than Rachmaninoff himself could have imagined. The lights dimmed throughout the restaurant as the harmonic resonator detected her focused emotional state. The instrument was responding to her in ways beyond mere sound. Lily lost herself in the music, forgetting the watching aliens, forgetting Maxwell Grant's smirk, forgetting her years of serving drinks and cleaning tables. Her fingers danced across the crystal keys, finding new sounds, new combinations that the Arcturians themselves might never have discovered. When she reached the piece's emotional climax, the entire restaurant was bathed in swirls of light that matched the music's intensity. The harmonics filled the space completely, resonating in ways that seemed to touch each listener directly. She finished with a flourish of notes that lingered in the air, shimmering like the stars visible through the restaurant's windows. The final chord hung suspended, accompanied by a gentle pulse of golden light that slowly faded. Then, silence. Lily lowered her hands and turned to face the room. Every being in the restaurant sat completely still. The Arcturian's skin had gone, a pale, shocked blue. The Zeta's large eyes were wider than Lily had thought possible. Ambassador Nex's four eyes blinked rapidly, as if trying to process what they had witnessed. And Maxwell Grant, the human who had laughed at her, sat frozen, his drink halfway to his lips, his expression one of complete disbelief. Seconds stretched into a full minute of silence. Then, slowly, one of the aliens stood up. It was an elderly Arcturian sitting at a corner table, his skin a deep, wise purple. He had 4 arms, marking him as an elder of high status. With deliberate movements, he extended all 4 arms outward and bent at the waist in a formal bow. Lily recognized this as the highest form of respect in Arcturian culture. One by one, other aliens began to stand, species that never agreed on anything, that had fought wars against each other in the past, rose in unified recognition of what they had just witnessed. "Impossible," whispered the Arcturian at the main table, his skin fluctuating between colors of shock and reluctant admiration. The Zeta Reticulan remained seated but inclined his head slightly, the most respect his species ever showed to others. Ambassador Nex rose to his full height. "In 300 years of diplomatic service, I have never heard the harmonic resonator played with such feeling." He seemed to struggle to find the right word. "We may have underestimated your species, human." Maxwell Grant still hadn't moved, hadn't spoken. His eyes remained fixed on Lily as if seeing her, truly seeing her for the first time. Zorb approached, his 4 tentacle arms moving nervously. "You never said you could play like that," he accused in a low voice. "You never asked," Lily replied. Simply. The elderly Arcturian who had bowed first now approached her. "I am Master Zolan," he said, his voice carrying the musical qualities of his species. "I helped design the first harmonic resonator 2 centuries ago. Never has anyone played it as you just did." "Thank you," Lily said. "I simply adapted what I knew of Earth music to your instrument." "No," said Master Zolan, shaking his head. "What you did was more. You found voices in the resonator that we never knew existed. You brought, what is your human word? Soul to a mathematical instrument." The restaurant had erupted into excited conversation. Aliens were talking rapidly in their native languages, gesturing toward Lily. Some were replaying recordings they had made, studying her performance with new eyes. "I don't understand," said the Zeta at the main table. "How could a human master our technology so quickly?" Master Zolan turned to him. "She didn't master our technology. She collaborated with it. There's a difference that I think we've forgotten." He turned back to Lily. "Child, what is your name?" "Lily Morgan." "Lily Morgan of Earth," he said formally. "I would be honored if you would consider playing again. Perhaps a full concert. I believe there are many across the Federation who would value the opportunity to hear what you just showed us." Maxwell Grant finally found his voice. "I'd like to sponsor such a concert," he said, standing up. "As a representative of human innovation." Lily looked at him coolly. "You didn't seem interested in representing humans when they were mocking me earlier." Maxwell had the grace to look ashamed. "I was wrong," he said simply. "I forgot where I came from in my effort to fit in with them." He gestured around at the alien dignitaries. Ambassador Nex made a sound like chiming bells, the Verdant Collective's version of thoughtful consideration. "Perhaps we have all been too quick to judge the newest members of our Federation. If humans can create art like this after experiencing our technology for only 2 decades, what might they achieve given time?" News of Lily's performance spread across Celestial Haven within hours. By the next morning, it had reached the farthest corners of the Galactic Federation. The recordings, despite being made on personal devices not designed for capturing the Kiar, full spectrum of the harmonic resonator's output, were shared widely across interstellar networks. Lily woke to find 17 messages on her communication device. 3 were from Zorb, apologizing profusely for how she had been treated and offering her a substantial raise. 5 were from various news outlets requesting interviews. The rest were from representatives of different alien cultural institutions, all wanting to discuss potential concerts or cultural exchange programs. The last message was from Maxwell Grant. It was brief. "I need to speak with you. Please meet me at Observation Deck 7 at noon." Lily considered ignoring his request. After all, he had sat by while aliens mocked her, even joining in their laughter. But curiosity won out. She wanted to see what the famous tech tycoon had to say for himself. At noon, she arrived at Observation Deck 7, a quieter area of the station with a stunning view of the nearby ringed gas giant. Maxwell Grant stood alone by the viewport, hands clasped behind his back, staring out at the swirling blues and purples of the planet below. "Mr. Grant," Lily said as she approached. He turned, and she was surprised to see genuine emotion on his face. He looked tired, his normally perfect appearance slightly rumpled as if he hadn't slept well. "Ms. Morgan," he said, "thank you for coming." "What do you want?" Lily asked directly. Maxwell gestured to a bench facing the viewport. "Please, sit. I have a proposition for you." They sat down, both looking out at the gas giant rather than at each other. "I owe you an apology," Maxwell began. "I behaved poorly yesterday, and if I'm honest, I've been behaving poorly for years." Lily said nothing, waiting for him to continue. "When I first started working with alien technology, I was excited by the possibilities. I wanted to help humanity catch up, to prove we belonged among the stars." He sighed. "Somewhere along the way, I started caring more about fitting in with them than standing up for us." "It's easy to forget where you came from when you're dining with ambassadors," Lily said, not unkindly. Maxwell nodded. "My parents were factory workers in Detroit. When first contact happened, my father lost his job as factories converted to alien tech. I promised myself I'd master that tech, make it work for humans instead of against us." He turned to look at her. "But yesterday you showed me there's more than one way to make a mark in the galaxy." He pulled out a small device and activated it. A holographic display appeared between them, showing news clips from across the Federation. Each one featured Lily's performance, with various alien commentators expressing amazement. "You've done something I never managed with all my billions," Maxwell said. "You've made them respect us, not just tolerate us or see us as good customers." Lily watched the clips with a mixture of surprise and pride. "I just played music." "No," Maxwell said firmly. "You showed them something uniquely human. Our art, our emotion, our ability to adapt and create. The Arcturians designed that instrument, based on mathematical principles. You played it with your heart." He turned off the device and faced her directly. "I want to offer you a position as cultural ambassador for Grant Innovations. Full creative control, salary 10 times what you make here, and a clear mission. Show the galaxy what humanity has to offer." Lily raised an eyebrow. "You want to make money off my performance?" Maxwell had the grace to look embarrassed. "Yes, partly. I am still a businessman, but this is about more than profit." His voice grew, passionate. "For 20 years we've been trying to catch up to them technologically. What if that's not the only path? What if our art, our music, our different way of looking at the universe is just as valuable as their tech?" Before Lily could respond, her communication device buzzed. She glanced down to see a message from Master Zolan, the elderly Arcturian. "The Galactic Cultural Council requests your presence at our next assembly. We wish to discuss establishing a Federation Conservatory of Human Arts. Please respond at your earliest convenience." She looked up at Maxwell, who was watching her expectantly. "Appreciate your offer, Mr. Grant," she said, "but I think I have other options to consider." Maxwell nodded slowly. "I suspected as much after seeing the reactions yesterday. Just promise me one thing. Whatever you decide, keep showing them what makes us human. We need that voice in the seal. Federation." "I plan to," Lily said. Their conversation was interrupted by the arrival of Ambassador Nex, his tall green form gliding across the observation deck toward them. "Ah, Ms. Morgan, Mr. Grant," he said. "I hoped I might find you here." They both stood to greet him. "Ambassador," Maxwell said with a respectful nod. "I have just come from an emergency session of the Cultural Council," Nex said. "Your performance yesterday, Ms. Morgan, has prompted significant discussion among Federation members." He turned to include Maxwell in his gaze. "We have been focused on technological advancement for so long that many species have neglected their artistic traditions. Your display reminded us of what we have been missing." "I'm glad it had such an impact," Lily said. Ambassador Nex's 4 eyes blinked in sequence. "The Council has voted to establish a new cultural exchange program, specifically focused on human artistic expression. We would like you to lead it." Lily looked stunned. "Me?" "Yes. You would have resources to bring other human artists to Federation, worlds to teach and to learn." Nex turned to Maxwell. "And we would like Grant Innovations to help facilitate the technological aspects of this exchange. Your company's expertise in adapting technologies across species would be invaluable." Maxwell's eyes lit up. "You're talking about a true exchange, not just humans adopting alien tech." "Precisely," said Nex. "For too long, we have viewed Earth as simply a new market, a junior partner to be guided. We failed to consider what unique perspectives your species might offer." He extended a long, 4-fingered hand toward Lily. "Your music opened doors that years of diplomacy could not. Will you help us continue this exchange?" Lily looked at the ambassador's hand, then at Maxwell, who gave her an encouraging nod. "On one condition," she said. "I want to start with the service staff here on Celestial Haven. There are humans, and other species, with amazing talents, who have been overlooked because they're just seen as waiters or cleaners." Nex's eyes crinkled in what appeared to be an alien smile. "A most insightful condition." "Agreed." His hand remained extended. Lily reached out and shook it, sealing a new chapter not just for herself, but potentially for human-alien relations throughout the Federation. In that moment, standing on the observation deck with the gas giant swirling below them, something shifted in the balance of the galaxy. It wasn't a loud or dramatic change, just the quiet recognition that perhaps humanity had more to offer the stars than anyone had realized. 6 months later, Lily stood backstage at the Grand Hall of Harmony on Arcturus Prime. The most prestigious concert venue in the Federation was filled to capacity with beings from over 50 different species. Some had traveled for weeks to attend this historic event, the first official Human Federation cultural showcase. Lily smoothed down the front of her formal concert attire, a deep blue dress that shimmered slightly in the light, designed by a human fashion team, but incorporating subtle elements from various alien cultures. Gone was the silver waitress uniform from Stellar Plates. She hadn't served a drink in months. "Nervous?" asked a familiar voice behind her. Lily turned to see Maxwell Grant, dressed in a crisp black suit. In the months since her performance on Celestial Haven, they had developed an unexpected working relationship. While she had declined his initial job offer, they had become partners of sorts in the new cultural initiative. "A little," she admitted. "It's been years since I performed, for an audience this size, and never one this diverse." Maxwell smiled. "You've been practicing on that modified harmonic resonator for months. Every alien who's heard you play has been moved by it." The modified resonator had been Maxwell's contribution to the showcase. Working with Master Zolan and a team of engineers, Grant Innovations had created a hybrid instrument that combined Earth piano mechanics with Arcturian harmonic technology. The result was something entirely new, an instrument that could be played by humans but produced sounds that resonated with alien physiology. "It's not just about me tonight," Lily said. "It's about all of us." She gestured toward the side stage where 20 other human artists waited. Musicians, dancers, visual artists, and poets. All had been working with alien counterparts to create collaborative pieces for tonight's showcase. "You made this happen," Maxwell said. "That night in the restaurant, you changed how they see us." Before Lily could respond, Master Zolan approached them, his elderly Arcturian form moving with deliberate grace, skin glowing a serene blue. "It is time," he said. "The hall awaits." Lily took a deep breath and nodded. The three of them walked onto the massive stage. The grand hall fell silent. Thousands of beings from across the galaxy watched as Lily took her place at the modified harmonic resonator. Maxwell and Master Zolan moved to the front of the stage. "Distinguished guests," Master Zolan began, his voice carrying through the perfect acoustics of the hall. "For centuries, the Galactic Federation has prided itself on technological advancement and scientific discovery. We have built wonders across the stars. Yet somehow many of us forgot the importance of art, of beauty created for its own sake." Maxwell stepped forward. 6 months ago, humanity was viewed as the Federation's newest and least advanced member. We were seen as students with little to offer. He smiled. Then a waitress played a piano. Soft laughter rippled through the audience. The story of Lily Morgan had become something of a legend across the Federation. "Tonight," continued Maxwell, "we present not just human art, but a new vision of collaboration between our species. We hope to show that different perspectives, when brought together in harmony, create something greater than the sum of their parts." Maxwell and Master Zolan bowed and moved off to the side. The spotlight focused on Lily and her instrument. She began to play, starting with the same Rachmaninoff piece that had stunned the diners at Stellar Plates. But halfway through, she transitioned to something new, a composition she had created with Master Zolan that incorporated human emotional expressions with Arcturian mathematical harmony. The audience sat transfixed as music filled the hall, accompanied by waves of colored light that responded to both the notes and the emotions behind them. When she finished, there was a moment of complete silence before the hall erupted in sounds of appreciation. Everything from human applause to the trilling vibrations of cephalians and the rhythmic humming of the verdant collective. The showcase continued for hours. Human dancers performed with Zeta Reticulan visual artists, creating living sculptures of light and movement. Earth poets collaborated with Drachnid storytellers, finding common ground in their species' myths of creation and rebirth. Each performance broke new ground in cross-species artistic expression. From her seat in the front row, Lily watched the final performance, a group of human children from an Earth settlement playing a game with young Arcturians, their laughter and movement creating patterns of light and sound through sensors in the floor. Ambassador Nex leaned toward her. "When we invited Earth to join the Federation 20 years ago, we thought we were elevating a promising but primitive species," he said quietly. "We never considered that you might elevate us in return." After the showcase concluded, a reception was held in the Grand Hall's central atrium. Representatives from dozens of worlds approached Lily, many offering invitations for her and the other human artists to visit their home planets. Zorb, her former manager from Stellar Plates, approached, with all 4 tentacle arms extended in a gesture of deep respect. "The restaurant hasn't been the same without you," he said, "though your replacement does try very hard with the customers." Lily smiled. "I hope you treat them better than you treated me." Zorb's skin darkened with embarrassment. "We have instituted new policies regarding staff dignity and cultural sensitivity," he said formally. Later, as the reception was winding down, Lily found herself standing on a balcony overlooking the glittering skyline of the Arcturian capital city. Maxwell joined her, 2 glasses of champagne in hand. "Earth champagne," he said, offering her one. "They imported it specially for tonight." "Thank you," Lily said, taking the glass. "Not just for this, for everything. You didn't have to help make all this happen after I turned down your job offer." Maxwell smiled. "I realized something that night on Celestial Haven. I'd been so focused on proving humans could match alien technology that I'd forgotten what makes us uniquely valuable." He raised his glass. "To humanity's true gift to the stars." "And what's that?" Lily asked. "The ability to create beauty from nothing, to find harmony in chaos, to express emotion in ways that connect rather than divide." He looked out at the alien city. Most of these species built incredible technologies, but somewhere along the way, many of them lost touch with why they were building in the first place. You reminded them. They clinked glasses and drank. Below them, humans and aliens mingled freely, discussing future collaborations and exchanges. So, what's next? Maxwell asked. You've been offered teaching positions at cultural institutions across the galaxy. The Federation Conservatory would make you their first director in a heartbeat. Lily looked thoughtful. Actually, I'm going back to Earth for a while. Earth? Why? There are thousands of artists there who lost their way when the Federation arrived. Musicians, painters, dancers, writers. They need to know there's a place for them among the stars now. She smiled. Besides, I miss home. Maxwell nodded in understanding. Well, whenever you're ready to return to the stars, let me know. Grant Innovations has pledged resources to support human artistic ventures throughout the Federation. As they looked out at the vastness of space visible beyond the city's edge, Lily thought about the journey that had brought her here, from concert halls on Earth to serving drinks on Celestial Haven, to becoming a cultural ambassador to the galaxy. Do you ever wonder what would have happened if I hadn't been tripped that night? She asked. Maxwell laughed softly. The universe works in strange ways. Sometimes you need to spill a drink on an alien diplomat to change the course of interstellar relations. Together they watched the twin moons of Arcturus rise above the horizon, casting their pale blue light over a city where, for the first time, human music played freely through the night air.